Welcome to PK Woodworking, and this is an addition or maybe a complement to some stuff that I did before. So we got the, it's right here, you probably can't see it, but you'll see some video in a second of it maybe. But we got the SCM Law Invincible SI3 delivered, not delivered, I transported it and delivered it here from the old shop. And then behind me, you'll see the FS7, the joiner planer combo is here now. And that's actually pretty much where it will go. It needs it's a little faceplate on the bottom to be installed and all that kind of stuff, but I'm not gonna do that until I'm not moving it around anymore. Like I still have to probably move it around a little bit, you know, to get things in and out of here and whatever. So, but these are basically in the space that they're going to be in. And I'm comfortable with the space that's going to be around it to use. I do not have the outrigger on the table saw yet. It's still in storage. You're going to probably hear that in some of the stuff I talked before. But the reason why I'm saying that is because I tried to do some videos that day, but my Osmo, which I think had a software update that may have turned on some heat stuff inside of it, kept saying it was overheating. And that's not going to happen anymore because we installed one of the mini split heads and it's working right now. And the shop is nice and cool in the low 70s. Got it installed last night. You can see it's not beautiful yet, but that's all gonna be covered right there with plywood, so you won't see any of that stuff. Anyway, and it'll look much better than it does now. It's a Tosot, T-O-S-O-T, I don't know, I think is the name of it. Lots of videos on that, so I took no video of that. I will say it's working great, but it's supposed to have a display on it, and I don't think the display works. I'll call them. They have a 5-year warranty. So the reason why I'm doing this update right now is because I have a bunch of stuff getting delivered tomorrow. And I'll take as much video as I can of that. Hopefully, I won't have the same issue with the temperature issue with the Osmo. I will bust out some of my smaller Osmos to see if they won't have that same temperature issue. But we're getting machines delivered tomorrow. So we're getting a new dust collector and shaper delivered tomorrow. I sold my Felder RL200. I think I alluded to that in a previous video that may be linked or playing in this one also. So that's out of the back, it's not there anymore. And the new dust collector is basically the same footprint, goes back there. It just has a bigger inlet. It has a 10-inch inlet instead of an 8-inch inlet. I needed some more power because of the Kundig that I got, which is still in process. It has two 7-inch inlets and it needs, because of that, it needs a 10-inch main trunk going to it. So yeah, some new tubing will have to show up along the way with that as we get that all up and running. But there's all kinds of projects going on here at the same time. The reason why I wanted to do this update though was because there's going to be some new stuff happening that probably will go very quickly and will all show up on like one video. So I'm going to pause right now so that whatever happens with the old video that I couldn't process of us delivering the machines and getting them in here and setting them up might work, hopefully, and then I'll play that stuff and then I'll come back and tell you what's happening next. Welcome to PK Woodworking. It's a different day here in the shop and hopefully get a lot done. Couple of things to just say. It's getting hotter here in the desert and I have not got the mini splits installed yet, so I gotta get moving here. Secondarily, as you can see over there, we were able, and behind me also, we were able to get the joiner planer combo and the table saw onto a trailer and shipped over here to where I live now. It was a stressful day. So I got a couple of pictures. I took 0 video. I will put some of those pictures up probably in one of these corners up here, but as we go. It was a flat deck trailer on top, like a top deck trailer, so no wheels exposed. And it was wide enough that it would fit the joiner planer combo widthways, which worked out really well. I put the back of that to the wind, and then we had the saw behind it on pallets, strapped down, screwed down. Aside from the fact that it decided to, I don't know, mist/rain in the morning that we left, that was totally not on the weather forecast. The rest of the day was fine, other than the fact that, you know, towing a 10,000 pound trailer is stressful. And then at the top of the pass that we have to go up to get where I'm at, there was fog at the beginning of the day, and we couldn't see 10 feet in front of us. So it was kind of sketchy, but we made it. Only a small little thing I'll show you guys probably later. A little bezel on the front of a button got damaged, so I can order a new one. Big deal, no problem. The night before, I got this thing in my head. You know, I probably should spray down the top of the joiner planer combo and some of the exposed pieces on the saw with some protectant, just in case there's some mist the night, you know, that happens in the night or whatever, or there's some dew that shows up on it. You know, and my dad's like, oh, we really need to do that. I said, you know, it's better safe than sorry. So I found some stuff at the the Orange Box, one of the many companies that make PB Blaster or something like that. I can't remember which one it was. But it was gooey, and it felt a lot like Cosmoline when I sprayed it on. But thank the Lord that I did it, because after wiping it off and getting here, there's really nothing that happened whatsoever to the planer, joiner planer. I can't see the top of the saw yet because it's covered up with all that stuff that you can see is strapped to it. Now, I know you guys may or may not have watched the video that I made on actually commissioning the saw, but this is pretty close to how the saw came to me from SCM, with the exception of they had a couple of wooden things that they made that they put on it, but it's pretty close to the same way it was done. And the goal today is to take it off the pallet and to start to put the whole thing together. I'm hoping we can maybe even get the whole thing put together today. I'm not gonna videotape all of that, but I will videotape taking it off the pallet, just for, you know, in case something bad happens. But the rest of it you've already seen before, so I don't think there's a good reason to video that again. This is close to where the saw is gonna be. It might be about 2 or 3 feet this way and a couple of feet this way, but that's close. I am not gonna put the outrigger on yet because there's just too much chaos in here still going on that I don't need to walk around the outrigger yet. So the outrigger is still in storage here, and we'll bring that out when it's appropriate to put it back on the machine. All right, so you saw the table saw being installed, hopefully whatever we got of it because of the temperature issue with the camera. And then now you'll see that the lawn invincible joiner planer is right here. It gives me more than 10 feet in feed and way more than 10 feet out feed when even the garage is closed. So I can work in here without opening or closing anything, and I get more than 10 feet in either direction, which is glorious and definitely needed. The press that will show up at some point in time will end up going against this wall. So it is possible that the joiner planer may have to come out an inch or two. I'm not sure exactly what it'll be, but it's pretty close to where it's going to end up being. And then you'll see on this side that the panels are off the sander. They're at the powder coater. He got them pretty much body worked, I guess you want to call it, so they look better. And then I also spent some time trying to clean off most of the other stuff on the machine. It's really great. I got the quote for turning that into soft start, and it's heart-stopping quote, but I'm gonna figure it out in my head, contact a couple of other people to give me opinions, and then go from there. But even with that huge quote for changing it to soft start, it's still a way better deal than buying a new one. Not a Kundig, a new regular one, like a new replacement Cassaday, like that I had gotten a quote for a 2-head 43. It still would be significantly cheaper than that Cassaday, and it would be a Kundig. So I'm definitely not going to give up on the Kundig. The Kundig is definitely going to stay here. I've decided now. It's just, am I going to do the upgrade of the soft start, or am I going to have Kundig come do that or not is the big question. So I haven't gotten to that exactly yet. Okay, so why am I kind of splitting this up and talking about this? A lot of stuff's going to happen next. So now that we get the other 2 machines in here that are showing up tomorrow, we're going to do a lot of the airlines. And as soon as the airlines are finished, immediately after that, we're going to be putting up the plywood on the walls. So there won't be a gap in time because I don't have to worry about any wiring or whatever, because all of the 120 volt stuff is already in the wall, already done. So I don't have to worry about like figuring out how to get around that stuff. That'll be easy. The only thing that will have to be done, it will be the 3-phase and the 240 volt stuff. But like I said before, that's going to be up in the ceiling and cable trays that are going to go all the way around. So that'll come after the plywood. But as soon as the plywood gets up on the wall, the look of the shop is going to be radically different. And so I wanted to kind of show you this mess that this is right now before that all happens. So I'm going to show you one different look of the shop, and then we'll close this one out. Most of my cabinets here for my stuff have all been, they're all here. I don't know if I say most of them. They're all here, all 4 of them, but they are not going to be here. They're all going to, 3 of them are going to be against that back wall over there, and 1 of them will be up in the front, and it will carry like my old school tools that I've had, like wrenches and stuff like that. They'll be up there out of the way. And then against that far wall that has nothing on it kind of right now over there is where the big Microsoft Surface TV will go. and all the audio and video stuff goes all in there. So that whole area that's packed full of stuff right now will all have nothing in it except for that wall being done, etc., when all this stuff moves out of the way. So in the next few videos, my goal would be that that would be all cleared out and you'd get a much better picture of what the actual shop should look like, and for me also what the shop's gonna look like long term. So that would be awesome to see. And then, you know, I've got other projects all going out here. You know, the backyard is getting done by the backyard people, and I've got audio that goes out there, and I've got all this stuff that goes in here, and I've got multiple storage units that I'm trying to condense down. There's just a ton going on. So I do apologize if some of these videos don't come out as often as I want them to, but we will get back on track to doing like a video every couple of weeks in the near future. So any questions you got about what's going on, keep putting them down there in the comments. Like and subscribe too. And if you're a person that knows how to work on machines like this and do conversions like I'm talking about, this is the cabinet that is the machine cabinet for the, I guess, the electrics cabinet for the Kundig. I really like how they did this whole like thing like that. Anyways, I think the challenge is that it's not very deep. I think you got a total of about 10 inches of depth in there. So I think Kundig's idea is that for the two soft start main units, they're probably gonna have to be a separate cabinet somewhere like on the back side. And I've seen a lot of wide belt sanders that do have that kind of off-site kind of thing that comes back into the electrics cabinet. I was hoping to avoid that, but you know, we'll see how it all works out. But if you know somebody who's got some insights for me, like, hey, let me know. But as you can see, this has not got star delta start, and I needed to have a soft start to be able to work with the power that I have. They're trying to set me up with a 15 kilowatt and an 18.5 kilowatt soft starter for the two different motors and all the programming that's required for that. So the only thing holding me back from trying to do this myself, because you can get soft starters on the internet pretty much all over the place, is that the way this machine works is when you turn the button on to start it, it has an internal timer that staggers the starts of the motor. So it starts the first motor, and after the first motor is started, it starts the second motor. And then it also has a selection where you can turn one of the belts off totally and not have that one come on at all. And so I want to make sure that however this is set up, it works with that Kundig setup. And I know it's probably just adjusting timers, but I don't know if the timer exists in that data, a box right here, or if it's this timer that does that. I don't know, you know, I'd have to look at the schematic and figure it out, and you know, I guess I could do that. But if you know, like, please connect with me. Love to get some insights from anybody about how to make this work the way I want to make it work. A like and subscribe. Like you've already stayed this long, like and subscribe. And I appreciate all of you, and we'll catch you on the next one.